Hi guys, welcome back to Chaos Maker's Hobby House. If you're new here, thank you for joining. I'm Alexandra. If you've seen any of my recent videos, you'll know that I recently got chickens, and I want to give you a coop tour now that it's done. Behind the scenes, I have been working on this for the last 4 months. Why would it take 4 months to build a chicken coop? Well, I work a full-time job. I work every weekday until 5 p.m. at night, so I'm only working on this after work and on weekends in my spare time, which I have very limited amount of. But now that the coop is done, I want to show you around. The run is not done yet. My chickens will not be free range. They will have a very, very large, fully enclosed run that is predator proof. Still working on that. It's getting there. It's almost done. But the coop is done and they'll be moving into it very soon. This whole thing started out with just a sketch of an idea I had. I didn't use any blueprints or any pre-made designs. This was all just from my head, kind of as I went. I didn't have measurements laid out. I just knew the features I wanted it to have. And it kind of evolved into a whole nother beast. Now, thanks to my dad, I am pretty good in the wood shop, but this is something that I've never done before. I've never built a structure. This was a whole new ball field for me, and I definitely encountered a few things along the way that I had to adjust for, make changes for, and things that didn't quite turn out the way I wanted, so they evolved into something a little bit more elaborate until it was what I wanted. But yeah, that's why it's taking me 4 months to build a chicken coop for 5 chickens. So first, let me pop up the drawing that I started with, right here. That is my idea. A quick little jot down of an idea with the features that I wanted and some notes on it. That's it. Now let me show you what it turned into. It turned into this. Now the run will extend all the way down, encasing the whole yard, which will be completed here shortly, but this is my chicken coop. Pardon the garbage bag. Still cleaning up a bit, but I knew underneath I wanted space. I wanted the chicken coop to be lifted so they could have as much run around outside space as possible and some shaded space, since I live in South Carolina and it gets hot, like really unbearably hot. So needed shade. I also want to make sure there was plenty of ventilation in the coop, because even at night the temperature is high, so I'm not sure if you can see it up there. No, you can't really see it. I will have to show you from the inside. There is soffit ventilation around the entire coop. And on top of the soffit ventilation, I do have windows that all open and are protected with hardware cloth. Around the front here, and yes, I saw these and had to have them. Also have these windows that open and lock in place. For additional ventilation, very secure. Now we don't have much of a predator issue out here outside of birds, hawks and eagles and stuff like that. But we do have snakes, and we do have a lot of them. So I went with a 1/4 inch hardware cloth. So hopefully this will be pretty much snake proof. There's really no gaps anywhere to worry about. And since the underneath is going to be open, I also made it so these can be opened. These will be encased in that hardware cloth as well. And then you can get in there. Let me close these windows real quick. I also knew I wanted to access the nesting box from the outside in case I was in a rush and didn't want to have to go into the run where there will be potentially chicken poop that I would end up stepping in when I just need to run out the door real quick before work one day. So the nesting box is accessible from the outside by lifting the roof. And I do have locking hinges, so it'll hold itself open, because I realized I made that roof entirely too heavy. But you may notice it's all lined. Got 2 boxes in there. But why is it lined? What is that lining? We'll get to that lining in a minute, but wanted to just touch base on the entrance as well. It is closed up right now, and the string will come outside of the hardware cloth to easily open the Coop door on a slide system. That's another thing I wanted to include to make it so if I don't have to go in there, I don't need to, because I don't want to be tracking anything in the house if I forget to check my feet, or if I'm in a rush and don't have time to worry about cleaning off shoes. So everything will be accessible from the outside, but there will be an access door into the run that I will go in frequently to spend time with the girls. So the door will eventually be this opening right here, and it is covered by a roof up until the end of that door, and the rest will be completely open and covered with hardware cloth to protect the girls from birds, but it'll go all the way to that fence. Now let's take a look at the inside. Double doors for easy access, so I can just scrape out all the bedding and clean it out. And that liner, the entire thing is lined with that commercial kitchen wall liner. So it's like a rigid plastic sheeting to make it completely waterproof. So if for any reason I ever need to spray down the inside or sanitize the inside, I don't have to worry about the porous wood holding on to anything. I just installed the roosting bars the other day, so you can see the soffit venting on the sides. And then above the doors are additional soffit venting to allow for as much airflow as possible. We have very mild winters, so I'm not worried about them getting cold. I am worried about them overheating though. So light colors and lots of venting. And let me tell you, I have spent quite a few days inside this plastic box basically, working on the interior, and it's still very hot here. Those days were well into the 80s, and it wasn't any hotter inside the coop than it was outside. It had great ventilation, especially when the windows were open. It makes me very happy that I was able to thoroughly check it out to see if the ventilation that I installed was enough. It was, like I said, I've never done anything like this, and it was such a learning experience. I had to get creative in a few ways because I had ideas that there weren't any instructions on. There weren't any YouTube how-to videos, and I did this on my own. This was my project. It was my baby. I really didn't want any other hands on it. I am absolutely thrilled with how it came out. And the girls will be out here very, very soon. I might also mention that this is stormproof. This is well anchored to the ground. We get hurricanes here, and any structure that's going to be outside needs to be anchored or else it'll just blow over. So every post that goes into the ground is anchored with a footer. When I get all the hardware cloth installed all the way around the coop, that will actually be buried beneath the surface of the soil as well, just to make sure nothing digs under. Even though we don't have any predators, I mean, I live in a neighborhood where everyone has fences and everyone has dogs in their backyard. I still don't want to run the risk of attracting something and then regretting not putting in the hardware cloth later, or digging the hardware cloth into the ground later. So yeah, did I go a little extra? Did I overdo it by probably a lot? Yeah. But that's my dad's engineering brain. If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. Now, I'm not really sure if you can tell the size overall of the inside of the coop. Try to give you a little look around, use me as a comparison, because right now I'm sitting in the coop. Like full on sitting in the coop. It's quite roomy in here. My back's not even fully against the wall. It's against the roosting bar. I am going to be putting the chicks out here very, very soon because they are outgrowing their brooder box. They will be out here with a heater because our nights are starting to get a little bit cooler, and they will be staying in the coop until the run is done, which shouldn't take me more than a week or two, in theory, as long as the weather cooperates. I mean, they're not even 3 weeks old yet. They will be 3 weeks old on Monday, September 16th. I would rather not have them outside that early, but unfortunately they are rapidly outgrowing their brooder box, and I don't really have anything larger that I can put them in. It's South Carolina. It's 85 degrees today. Our nights are getting down into the high 60s, low 70s. So with their heat plate and their heat mat, they should be fine out here. So I'm just a worried first-time chick mom. So thank you for joining me for my coop tour. I'll show you what it looks like when it's all full of shavings and has its new residence. Until then, I gotta get my butt working on this run so they have someplace to run around once they're big enough. I'll see you next time. Bye.